Guys, how's it going?
People all over the world, everybody, join in. Start a love tree, love tree.
Chris here. It's been over a week now. I like to post more than that, a couple times a week. But life's just been crazy lately. It's Christmas time. I've been working on a new job here, so I've had a couple interviews. I had to do a fitness test. I had to do all this stuff. But that seems to be going forward, which is good. But it just fills up my life a little bit. So I haven't been able to do as many videos as I would like. And I have some more creative ideas, do some editing, things like that I'd like to do. And it's really hard to find the time. But luckily I have found the time to hit up some comic book stores and find some new stuff. When I did that fitness test, I had to go into a different city about an hour away. So it gave me an opportunity to stop at a couple of stores in there. And it's funny because the more I go to these stores, the more I really appreciate my own store, my local shop. My city is kind of an hour away from Vancouver, BC. And just where it is, it's just far enough out of the way that a lot of people won't come out here to pick up comics. There's not a lot of reason for people to come out to my city. So there's a lot that sort of slips through the cracks in my store. And I've got lucky a few times. And some of these other stores, I just find they're so high priced, especially when you compare to eBay and things like that. For any sort of mid-range books like early Batman is just a little more expensive and stuff. But I did pick up a couple books just because go to these stores, you want to grab something. But I'm going to start a little bit with some speculatory stuff if you guys are interested. This is Planetoid. It's an Image series that came out a year or two ago. This came out right when I started collecting comics, I think. So this is the first one I saw this on the wall, and I thought, oh, this seems really cool and different. It's an okay series. It's just 5 issues, and it's written and drawn by Ken Gehring. It's just a cool sci-fi story about a guy who sort of crash lands on a planet and has to help this. It's kind of a totally robotic planet. The whole landscape is a giant machine that they live on, and there's these animals that live in it and stuff. So a really interesting world. The story itself is somewhat predictable, but still good, and the art is great. So this book has been optioned for a movie. Might be worth looking at if you find it, and you can probably find it in dollar bins and stuff. But it's a pretty good series. So mine's a little bit beat up. I was a little rough on it, but yeah, definitely worth checking out. This is Batman Annual number 2. So I forget the Doctor's name. The Doctor in this story has revealed, spoilers from last few weeks ago, but revealed to have been the Joker all along. So there's a new Doctor who starts working at Arkham in this story, and he's going through as Batman has a little adventure within Arkham, and you see everything sort of from his perspective. And it turns out later on that was actually the Joker in disguise. But if you read this story, there's absolutely no signs that that's the Joker. They don't do any little minor hints or anything. I really don't think they had that in mind until later. I think he came up with that idea later. So if that's something that interests you, it might be worth it. But I think this book is actually worth it for the story alone. It's a standalone story, but it's really well done. It's a little bit longer and a really interesting story about one of Batman's earliest villains. So definitely worth checking out just as a story. Daredevil 91. And this is not the first appearance of Mr. Fear, but this is the first appearance of this guy in Mr. Fear's costume. So he's the second Mr. Fear, but he was one of Matt Murdock's old law school friends. So he has that sort of past backstory, and he sort of takes over this guy's role as Mr. Fear. But I figured if you're a speculator, it might be worth checking out because this seems like the kind of story they might go with the TV show when it comes out. That type of character, something they could explore, and as well as exploring sort of Daredevil's earlier years in college and stuff. So it might be worth checking out. Plus, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I love this book. This I got from the dollar bin at my store. This is Absolute Vertigo from 95. This is sort of the first appearance of Preacher and that whole universe there, as you can see on the cover. It's sort of a preview issue. So if you're really into Preacher, worth checking out. And this book's on the rise. I think this goes for $10-20 now. And I think they're filming a pilot for Preacher. So that's actually moving forward and could be a kind of a neat, creepy series. So yeah, keep your eye out for that one. That's going to be it for the speculation portion. Here's just a few cool books I picked up lately and I feel like talking about. This is Silver Surfer 44. This is the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet, a fistful of trouble. This series features a whole bunch of Thanos and sort of his return, and just great, bright, colorful covers. They all have sort of a similar look to them, I find. Like it seems like there's often one with like it'll be Thanos and Silver Surfer sort of in a similar position. But first Infinity Gauntlet, which is obviously hugely important. This, man, Spider-Man Red Sonja #1. This is awesome Michael Turner cover. This was just a random one I found in the back bin, and just I thought it was gorgeous. You have Spidey looks awesome, Venom, Red Sonja, and it's kind of an interesting story. It's sort of almost an Elseworld story for Spider-Man. He gets sort of sent back in time, and Mary Jane actually ends up becoming Red Sonja in this, but doesn't have her memory, so she really is Red Sonja, and they have a bit of a team up. So I'd like to read the rest of the story and see where it goes. The interior art is okay. I think the inking was really bad, though. The way they do shadows and stuff, and it looks really strange. And they draw Spider-Man's eyes kind of strange in a couple of the panels. But besides that, the story's kind of interesting and fun, and just gorgeous Michael Turner cover. So he did the covers for all of these issues. There's a 5-part series. I think this is the best one, though, from what I've seen, because I was looking at some of the different ones, and this one I thought was just the best. Hit up the Flea for the last time, I said, for this year, because I was going lots, and I've been working lots of Sunday mornings and stuff, so I haven't been able to go to the flea market. But I was able to find this for $5. It's probably a very fine condition. Really happy to find it. First Beta Ray Bill. This book probably goes for 10 or 20 quite often now, so to find it for $5 was great, especially in this condition. Cool story. I wish I had the other part now. I got to read 3338 because I want to know how it finishes. But he just basically picks up the hammer, so that's the other thing. I don't get why he can just pick it up and do his thing. Maybe he's just super noble or something. But yeah, cool character. I got this in a dollar bin. This is and I think this is the one I have already. I want to get this set, and I think this is the only other one I have. But Death in the Family part 4, so it's Batman 429 with the Magnolia Joker cover. But really nice, like near mint condition, and this was raw, so it's always nice when you grab a raw book and it's like perfect. Detective Comics 608. This is the first Anarchy. It's kind of seems like a cool villain. I think I only read a bit of him in Nightfall, so I still got to read this and see what his deal is here. And I picked up Marvel Milestone, The Incredible Hulk #1. First appearance of The Incredible Hulk. So pretty excited. One day I'll own that book when I'm a billionaire, and I'll just be able to buy real ones. But I'm not there yet. Soon. Got in on the hype here. Suicide Squad #1. This is probably very fine. There's a couple little marks on the spine, and there's like a printer's error, I think it is, up here. If you guys can see all along that edge, there's sort of a white line. So I don't know how much that would lower the grade, because I think it's part of when it was printed. Probably not super ideal, but the book was $5. The first in the Suicide Squad series. Of all the DC movies, this was the one I was sort of most interested in. Now the cast has been announced, I don't know what I think, and specifically the director. He did SWAT, which is so terrible, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know what angle they're going to go for, if they're going to go a little bit too light and like silly and dumb and just go like action movie, or how they're going to go for it. So I thought this could have been the most interesting one. Hopefully it will still be good. I'm looking forward to it. But if it doesn't work out, we always got the Sinister Six movie, I guess, which will probably also be terrible. Let's talk about a trade. So I picked this one up a while ago at a used bookstore for like $7. This is Tales of the Fear Agent, and it's all just short stories of the Fear Agent. And I didn't know anything about the Fear Agent ahead of time. I like sci-fi and that sort of exploring the universe crazy type stuff, and this is just it's so good. The stories they all just hit me in that right spot, if you know what I mean. They're all pretty short, like within like 8-page stories type things. So you get into it, you have the quick setup and the quick adventure, and it's done. But they're great. Whole bunch of different writers involved. Remender writes 2 of them, I think. But there's a whole bunch of different writers and artists on it, and lots of crazy adventures and worlds. And he's just a great, interesting, exciting character. So if you see this, guys, pick it up. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be looking for the rest of the Fear Agent trades. I saw In Stock Trades has the hardcovers for really cheap, so I might get both of them. Just get the complete set. This is what I'm talking about from that news store. Just pricey. This is Batman: The Darkest Night, where Batman gets the Green Lantern ring, and it was $8. So that's about top price I'd want to pay for this book. But it was an interesting story. It's really interesting to see because he gets the ring in the beginning of his sort of Batman origin, right when, when the bat kind of breaks through the window and he decides to be Batman. That's when instead a plane crash or the space shuttle crashes and he finds the ring and takes over as the Green Lantern. And he's such a badass. He does not know how to be like a team player with the corpse. And it's interesting to see how his origin changes. Like he goes and deals with the Red Hood, who eventually is supposed to become Joker, but he doesn't fall into the vat of acid, so that character sort of never is created. But you see a similar version to him later down the line. It just sort of shifts everything, and it makes it look a little different. But he's still Batman in the end, and it's a pretty good story. These Elseworld stories are always good, so I like that one. This is Batman 363, and this is a $10 book, which I did get a deal. I got a bunch of stuff and they knocked $5 off, but still, again, it's you see this stuff and it's $10. It's just such a stretch all the time, I find. But beautiful cover. This is the first appearance of Nocturna. So a minor sort of Batman villain, but she might make some more splashes in the future or something. Who knows? So I'm a big Batman guy, so I just decided to grab it. That same story also picked up a few Invincible issues. I'm trying to get all the Invincible, and it's harder and harder to find sort of number 50 issues specifically. So anytime you can find them for an okay price is good. So this was 39, 36, 51, and 55, and those are all in really nice condition. So happy with those. Knock off a few off the list. And this is Deathmatch. This is a series by Paul Jenkins that I really enjoyed that nobody else read. So I got all these from the dollar bin. They're all near mint or very fine. And she basically gave me all these for free. So when I bought those other books, she said, well, you can take all these dollar books for free. So this is number 6. And this is just a 12-part series. Number 7. Number 8. Carlos Magno's on the art. He does a really great job. Sort of familiar characters, but they are their own characters in this series. And they're kind of all put in this arena. They've lost their memory. All they know is they kind of get pulled into these fights. And they have to fight to the death. And when they get into the arena, they remember why. He just does a really good job at being able to set up this world and these characters who you feel like they have a history. And you feel like they've gone through things and they've had events in their universe. They have histories with each other. There's villains and heroes fighting each other. So really cool if you like interesting battles. And when characters find creative ways to kill each other, not just punching each other in the face. That's every battle kind of has its own. It's really interesting how it finishes. So a cool series, but that's number 9. Number 10, and I guess I didn't know what this one was because there's no number on it. This is actually number 1, which I already have, but this was the Emerald City Comic Con variant, I guess. So yeah, why not? Okay, so this was a confusing one. Some of you guys probably know about this already. I don't know if this has been making the rounds, but I was trying to find the first appearance of Kamala Khan, who is the new Miss Marvel, and I thought it was just Miss Marvel number 1, which I have. I bought it when it first came out. But I guess she sort of has a little cameo at the back of this issue. So I was like, oh, great, because I saw this on eBay randomly, and everyone was saying this is the first one. So I was like, okay, great, I'll grab it. So my store had this one. I think it had multiple copies of this one, but I just grabbed one. So I was pumped. It basically just shows her from behind, sort of buffing up in the mirror. So, but then the writer, Deconic, she said that there's a girl in the one image in this story who's just kind of looking at her as she flies by or something, and she says that's actually Kamala Khan. So she made an earlier appearance. So there's like 3 first appearances, so it's kind of a pain, but that's got her face and everything. So which one's more the first appearance? I don't know. Whatever you want to believe. There they are. One other avenue for buying comics. I don't know if you guys have this. In my city, I have something called Abbey Bidding Wars. So it's like on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, but people can post items that they want to auction off. So it's all like honor system type thing. You can bid on something and then not buy it in the end, and that does happen. But for the most part, people are pretty good. So occasionally they get comics on there. I always kind of have been looking. So I got all these Secret Wars comics for $5. So I was pretty pumped on that. Not the whole set, but this is number 12, number 11, number 10. Awesome Doctor Doom cover. Number 9, number 6. I already have a number 8. I don't have a number 7. Number 5, and number 4 with the awesome Hulk holding up the mountain. 150 billion tons. So I guess he's pretty pissed and apparently strong. I don't think structurally that's how this would work. I think the rock would collapse, but it's a comic book, so I don't know why I'm making such a big deal. This one I had gotten earlier from my shop. The 13 and 12 have kind of been popular. So I found 12 at this other shop. I was a little annoyed. When I got there, he said he just had a huge Black Friday sale, I guess. So they must have sold off tons of stuff, and everything must have been picked through pretty good. But I was able to find this, so I didn't find much there. But this is a really good story. It's pretty fun. Great Deadpool stuff. Not too much to say about it, but it's just a really great story. I always like it when Spidey and Deadpool are together. I'll show off this too real quick. This is Howard Duck number 23. Nothing really significant about it. I just thought it's 2 hyped up franchises right now. You got Howard the Duck, who himself is hyped up after like a 20-year hiatus, and Star Wars, which is, if you've seen the Star Wars preview, it's being pretty hyped up now. And also both have that George Lucas connection, because George Lucas totally fucked up Howard the Duck and really killed him for this last 20, 25 years, whatever it's been, 30 years. Just no recovery for Howard the Duck. And you can trace it back to that movie. And Star Wars hopefully will be better because he's totally not involved. Yeah, so that's going to kind of be my haul, guys. Thank you for watching. Sorry, I sort of blasted through everything kind of quick here. I wish I had more time. I want to do more. Hopefully after Christmas here, everything will open up. Unless I get the job, and then I'll have to actually be away for like 6 months. So we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, and keep reading, guys. We'll talk to you later.